Who I am, Geoff Thompson, Executive Chair of the Youth Charter, a United Nations NGO that works with young people globally, developing their life potential and skills through cultural activity. What do? We forge partnerships, strategic partnerships, locally, nationally and internationally, that basically work as a collaborative effort in engaging young people and communities, empowering them with the skills and tools to manage, operate and develop their own potential, and empower them ultimately to sustain that potential with social, cultural and economic support and assistance.
What is there already in place to help these men?
A very patchwork quilt. What is in place, I think, is fragmented at best, uncoordinated at worst, and as a result, why I think Parallel Roads is so important is it does provide a positive pathway with signposting and the support and the commitment of that support for it not to just be another project and a program over the next number of weeks, but people genuinely coming together and I think making a firm challenge, because these young males of colour are pretty much disengaged and switched off. I think once we switched them on, as I found we were always able to do with cultural activity, once you gave them some skills, unless you could employ them or make them entrepreneurial, I felt it was false hope and a quite honestly false vaccine of approach. Parallel Roads offers something much more than that. It's a multi-agency stakeholder relationship of intent, purpose and outcomes. There are naturally very enterprising young people and young men of colour in Manchester. I've witnessed them on many occasions coming to this office with very sound ideas. And one experience comes to mind was Jason Knight, who had got a Prince's Trust grant, a time when the Prince's Trust were providing some very important interventions of meeting the short-term expectations that would respond to an idea and enhance an idea with a very sound entrepreneurial end outcome. And Jason got his mobile car valet business very successfully to the point where he was going to many of the corporate car parks and doing very well. Then he wanted to step up. He wanted to take a site on Princess Road. I remember still there, opposite the brewery. And he developed the business plan and we facilitated and hosted him. And it seemed as though no one was prepared to see him aspire to that next level, where he would have now employed his peers who were on the streets, who recognised there was a positive pathway. And I have to say, on the basis of him knocking on over 100 doors and becoming that disaffected, that he actually walked away from that small enterprise, convinced that no matter how well he did or how successful he was, he wouldn't get an opportunity to build on the opportunity already provided for him. And it was a very sobering lesson. And I think, again, is the reason why we need a Parallel Roads to provide a parallel of choices that give them at least a choice and a decision. The skills that most of the young men I've witnessed can apply to business comes from their ability to be street smart, street clever, street intelligent, innovative, reactive, proactive, and the ability to think and move on their feet. They live in a 24/7 world. They're not constrained by processes and applications and presentations and plans. They deliver that all between their ears, which I think is even more remarkable and has always challenged me as well as inspired me to want to see, as I've said, the three-phase approach: engage them with cultural activity, equip them with the skills and tools that can be employed or entrepreneurial, and then empower them to be successful in what you invest in them, having a return. And I think the return that I have always seen on the streets, but has never been truly realised where you get confidence and further investment, is trust and confidence. And I think, again, Parallel Roads can help lead that all-important footprint that leads the journey of confidence and trust. And when you've got confidence and trust, you get investment. You get investment, you get a win-win-win, and you get the required return. I think that in order for those young men of colour and potential to commit to a hard work journey of effort and dedicated commitment is why this project is so exciting. It hasn't been there as an opportunity for many years, and I think that there is a willingness and a wish to actually have an opportunity of hope. And I think if it's provided, it'd be very interesting to find out, wouldn't it? Why should people donate? I firstly would like to think that they will invest. I've always said that young men, young people, young men of colour are not a charity case. I see parallel roads and the opportunity being provided as an investment, a social, cultural and economic investment. There is lots of evidence to suggest and presuppose that if these young men are not given an opportunity and a chance to contribute positively, they can be a very negative economic, social and cultural impact on themselves, their communities and society as a whole. So this is a simple investment return proposition of which there are short, medium to long-term returns. But first and foremost, we are developing potential in a positive way and with a return that has so many multiple benefits. You always have to see a future of hope. I'm in the business of hope and aspirations and dreams being realised. We've had nightmares over the last number of years. We've had years now where the conflict no longer exists. There is, however, no need for complacency. Manchester has pioneered out of tragedy a lot of opportunities, and the Youth Charter has taken local tragedy and turned it into global opportunity. But I think the future is bright because you have to continually present positive opportunities, positive initiatives and positive ideas such as parallel roads in order to see whenever people want to throw a negative at whatever the community, named or otherwise, or the city more importantly, is that Manchester is still meeting its challenges, and more importantly, this project is being driven by young people and young women predominantly, which even more excites me because it is all about building and fostering very positive relationships that I think sees parallel roads and other projects of its kind an investment worth making for a city worth making it for.